I'm Logan Crawford, and right now on Spotlight, we are joined by Wayne Siegel. He is an author who has written a very powerful book, an enlightening book. It is called A Guide for Parents and Teachers about how to manage children with Attention Deficit Hyperactivity Disorder. This comprehensive work offers a deep dive into the complexities of ADHD, providing valuable insights into its history, causes, effects, and treatments. We're delighted to have this very talented author join us here today on Spotlight. And we thank the team at Skyhorn Entertainment for helping us put him in the spotlight today. And we ask viewers like you to support writers like him by subscribing to our channel and by purchasing his wonderful book. The links are below this interview. Wayne, great to see you here today on Spotlight.
Thank you for having me.
Tell us a little bit about your inspiration. Why did you decide to write this comprehensive guide for parents and teachers about ADHD?
I was in a master's program and I had a choice either to teach live in a school or do a culminating project, a thesis. And I decided to do the thesis. So I researched for 4 months and wrote the book and had faculty advisors tell me about things to improve the quality of the book, which I followed their instructions, and I submitted this as a culminating project.
Wonderful. Well, we're glad you did because I think it's going to help a lot of people. A lot of children receive the diagnosis of ADHD, so it affects a lot of people. What are some of the basics? What do people need to know about ADHD?
People are hyperactive. It's both physical and a mental disorder. Um, they usually take medication to calm them down,
Mhm.
but more than calming them down, it's to keep their symptoms under control.
Yeah. If you can keep the symptoms under control, the child will have a better outcome in school, right? Because they'll be able to focus and concentrate and do their work, right?
Yes, that's correct.
Do you have any personal experience with ADHD, whether you or your children were diagnosed with it?
I have ADHD.
And when did you first find that out, and how has it affected you?
I found out very late in life. Um, Everything that I've written about, my parents were not educated about, so they weren't aware of the disorder. I eventually went to a doctor and had an interview, and they did some tests and found out that I do, in fact, have ADHD as an adult, which means that I had it as a child.
Right. So that must have made your school years a little challenging, right?
Yes.
Yeah. It's hard to sit still, it's hard to focus, it's hard to concentrate, you're daydreaming a lot. What else can a parent do besides medication? Is there anything a parent can do to help a child with ADHD?
Yes, there are lots of things parents can do. They can be part of a team which cares for the patient with ADHD. There's a lot to know, and there's a lot that parents can do by managing the child's symptoms.
And is physical activity good for a child? You know, letting him get out there or her get out there and play and run and expend some of that energy?
Yes, it's very good for them. I personally was a state ranked gymnast in New York my senior year in high school. So athletics enhanced me. It didn't hurt me, and it was very good for the emotional side of ADHD. Doing so well was a big win-win for me.
Absolutely, absolutely. Your book includes a homework section with suggestions for managing ADHD. Tell us a little bit about these practical strategies that parents and teachers will find in this section.
It's strategies which doctors have decided are positive reinforcement for a person trying to live and grow with ADHD. Um, some of the practices include homework suggestions, and some of the suggestions are the environment that the student should be invited to and the types of people he should be working with and the types of things that homework should address so that the student can excel in the homework and classwork aspects of the disorder.
What are some of the symptoms that might tip a parent off or a teacher off to the fact that a child might be struggling with ADHD?
They usually a lot of people with ADHD have Tourette's syndrome, which I have.
Mm.
And one of the things is it's a stressful situation, and having ADHD and Tourette's, I tick a lot. I have facial tics.
Mm.
And one of the things is for parents to know how to help the child relax and get through their homework more easily than they would otherwise without any attention or help.
What has helped you with your ADHD? Have medications helped? Have other therapies helped?
Yes, medication has helped, and I had a wonderful therapist who I no longer have. She retired, and I'm looking for a new therapist, but you have to be careful because it's hard to check out their credentials online.
Mm. It seems like so many children nowadays have the diagnosis for ADHD. Why do you think so many kids are experiencing it?
I really can't answer that positively. I
Mhm.
do know that you're right about there it seems a lot more children have it than were suspected, but what to do about it is still up in the air. My book suggests some positive things to try, but it's not assured that these things will help. It's a try and see if it will help type of thing. And you have to work with a team, a doctor, a teacher, your parents, if you're in athletics, coaches, that sort of thing.
If a parent suspects his or her child has ADHD, what do you think he or she should do first?
First thing they should do is contact a psychiatrist knowledgeable about ADHD. There are tests to, one moment.
There are probably tests to make sure that the diagnosis is correct and to affirm whether the child is suffering from it.
Yes,
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Ritalin has been prescribed for years. Is that one of the drugs that's usually prescribed?
it is. I don't know how effective it is. I personally have never been on Ritalin, but I have been on a half a dozen different medications.
Yeah. Well, it's tough for children. It's tough for parents in this circumstance. It's also tough for teachers because they are trying to control a group of 20, 25, 30 children, sometimes more in some cases. And then you have children who are acting out through no fault of their own, but because of a medical condition, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's important that we know teachers are not necessarily trained in helping with ADHD, but nowadays, as opposed to when I went through it, teachers are more knowledgeable about it. They're keyed into some of the key elements that they can touch on so that the student has a more positive experience.
Absolutely. Wayne Siegel has written an important book. It is called A Guide for Parents and Teachers about how to manage children with attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. In the book, you'll find a lot of suggestions, a lot of valuable advice. You'll also find out about the history of the ailment, the causes, the effects, and of course, as we said, treatments that might help your child do better in school and better in life once this is diagnosed and put under control. Wayne, thank you so much for joining us here today on Spotlight.
Thank you.
My pleasure. To the folks at home, I'm Logan Crawford, thanking you for your time this time. Until next time on Spotlight.